Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chris, and I built a 30 by 25 foot garden in my backyard, and in the garden I have herbs and produce. Also built a rainwater system that collects everything so I don't have to waste my own home water. What I did is I built a fence around here, also built a trellis. That way if these vines want to grow, they'll grow around here and it'll look pretty. So now I'm going to take you inside the garden, show you what I've done. Maybe you get some good ideas on what I did to help yourself out. So let's take a walk in here and see what we got. Okay, this is my garden. Inside the garden you see 8 beds. These beds are 4 by 8s. And I have one bed that's strictly herbs. Everything else is vegetables. Now inside this garden you see yellow flowers. These yellow flowers are marigolds. And also I have a windmill. The reason why I have those is because we have squirrels and rabbits that love to eat our produce, and this actually keeps them away and the birds. Over here is my compost pile. This is one unit, and what I did was dug 8 holes in the ground, and I rest the footings in the ground. Didn't have to concrete them, I just laid them in the ground, put dirt back on top of them, and the weight holds it down. As you can see in this picture, this is how I created it. Here in Tennessee we have a lot of wind and tornadoes, and want to make sure that this thing stays in one place. Okay, this is my rain barrel system. This is strictly for my compost tea. Now what I do with my compost tea is I fill up this bag with my compost. Once I get it filled up, connect it to the stick, apply the water, and just throw this in here. I let that fill up about halfway. Once it's done, I let it sit for 4 days, and it turns dark brown. This is great for the vegetables and the leaves. Instead of just putting regular water into the ground, this does more. It actually gives them a lot more feeding. So once it's done, turn this off. I take this, which is my Miracle-Gro spray. I'll go ahead and use a spigot that I put on the bottom of this bucket, pour it inside here, connect it to my hose, and then just spray the leaves after I've already done my hose and watered around. And that's done with that section. Now I usually keep 2 buckets, and when one's done, then I keep it revolving, rotating it around. It works perfectly fine. Now I'm going to take you over and show you the rain barrel system that I created. Okay, this is my deluxe rain barrel system that I created. It's 2 55-gallon drums that you get from any farmer. They go anywhere from $5 to $15. Some places might charge you a little bit more. It's a total of 110 gallons of water coming down from my downspout. Now I'll explain how to put this together. Before you put the barrels in, put them off to the side, dig your 4 holes into the ground. Don't worry about cementing them in the ground yet. Just drop them in the ground. Doesn't matter whether they're level or not, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Once they're in, go ahead and put the 27-inch 4x4s across here, here, and here. Now what I used for to hold this up, I used L brackets. Put the middle L brackets in with 2-inch screws, and they'll hold perfectly fine on all these. Do them in the back as well. Once you get this set up, put in the corner beams, and this actually holds the weight of the 110 gallons of water. Once you go ahead and get that part set up, go to the back. When you do the back the same as the front, go ahead and start your middle. That's connecting them together. Take a 2-foot 2x4 here, which is catty corner, 45-degree angle, and then also another 2x4 right here, and that'll hold everything in condition of the weight. It won't rock back and forth. Do it on the other side as well. Once you get all this together, you want to go ahead and install your stabilizer bars. These are 2x4s. They're about 3 feet wide, 3 feet long. Got one on each side here and also down here, and that will hold the barrel from rocking back and forth. Once you get that set up with the stabilizers, go ahead and take your barrels and slide them in place. Now before you slide them in place, you want to go ahead and cut a hole in the top one before you put it up here. Cut it at about 7 to 8 inches, and then behind that one you want to cut a small one, like 2 to 3 inches. The smaller hole is going to be shooting air for the pressure of the spigot down here. Now once you go ahead and do that, slide it in place, put a screen around the holes, that way nothing gets in it, no debris. I'll show you when we're done here on what that looks like. We want to work on the connectors here, which is PVC 2-inch. First thing is you want to put a plug here and a plug here, and they're screw-ins. Now before you screw them in, you got to get something called aquamarine epoxy glue. It's like $6. Go ahead and wrap it around here inside, and then screw on the plugs. Let them sit for 4 hours, and while you're still doing that, go ahead and do the same thing here. You put the epoxy glue inside this one and this one, and then you want to add your male adapters. Screw in the male adapters into the barrels. Let it dry for about 4 hours, and then you want to take your 2-inch PVC plumbing pipes, and you want to connect them into the male adapters, top and bottom. Now the elbows, the 90-degree elbows, and the 2-inch PVC pipe, do those separately. You want to take the whole unit and build it first. Measure it out, build it, and then put them together. Just slide it right on. Now before you do all that, you do have to use plumber's PVC cement and also the purple primer. As you can see, I've got that on here now. Go ahead and use the primer, wrap it around, and then use the glue, wrap it around, and then put everything on, and it'll set within 30 seconds. Now once we're done with that, we go ahead and add the spigot, not the spigot, the gutter and the downspout exactly where you need it to go, and we're going to show it to you in a second. Now once I said that don't worry about the height of this thing, if it's level or not. Reason being is here in Tennessee we have a lot of rocks, so some places are going to be deeper than others. Like this one right here was probably about 5 to 8 inches taller than that one over there. This one over here was a different size. So once I got everything in the ground and I threw in the cement and it was all solid, then I took my circular saw and just cut the ends off. Once I cut the ends off, it looks completely normal. You can't even really tell. The 110 gallons of water is going to hold it in place, so you don't have to worry about any wind or something knocking it over. It's going to be sturdy. Okay, this is my top of the rain barrel system, like I said, with the hole. And what I did is after I cut the hole, I put the screen around it, and then I put duct tape to hold the screen on. I don't know if it's waterproof, but it does hold pretty well. In the back is my little 2-inch hole that I screened in. And then I just used regular caulk, and that's been holding as well. There's my debris that's actually being caught. Now here's my downspout. Downspout was probably about $5, and it was white, so I had to spray paint it. Okay, now that concludes the orientation of my garden that I built. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the video camera and go 360 4 times and show you what the garden looks like from different angles. And at the end of this, I'm going to go ahead and show you a calculation on how much the large rain barrel system cost me. That way if you decide to do it yourself, you'll know what you're going to be getting into price-wise depending on where you go. The smaller rain barrel, the brown one I showed you before, for my Compost Tea, that runs anywhere from $90 to $170 depending on where you get it. We had to get that one online, but Tractor Supply Company sells them as well for $90. But again, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my video.